Today's January 7th. Today's quote is entitled, "It's the cook's fault." If prasadam is delicious and thus you overeat, you can't blame your overeating on the cook. So this idea came up at a japa workshop we were doing, and I was beginning the workshop by saying that good japa is possible if you apply yourself. And sometimes we're in situations when we think, well, it's not a good environment to chant, it's the wrong time of day, or this temple is too loud, or whatever it is. And those are, in a sense, valid considerations. But what I see that sometimes happens is we allow those considerations to just make us think, well, right now I really can't chant good rounds. It's not possible. And I was making the point to the devotees that we should think that it is possible in any time, in any situation, if we put our mind to it. But we tend, as normal human beings, to find reasons to fail, as foolish as that is. Well, I can't do it because of this or that. That's not a smart way to think. Rather, we should think, well, if I can't do it because of this and that, well, let me find out how I can do it. Let me not use those as excuses. Maybe it's true, those situations aren't good, so let me find a situation where I can do it, or let me make the best out of this situation, or let me figure out how in this situation I could do it. So where we're using this example of overeating, and we know it's all true, when prasadam is really good, we'll tend to eat a little more, if not eat too much. And then we could say, well, I overate because the prasadam is good, which is true. But ultimately, it's not true. We overate because we overate. That's why. But I could blame the cook and say, well, I wouldn't have overeaten if the prasadam wasn't so delicious. And that's probably true. But within that statement is the idea that now I can blame it on prasadam, or one step removed, I can blame it on the cook. It's actually the cook's fault that I'm overeating. Oh, my wife is such a good cook. Look how fat I've become since I got married. It's her fault. It's not my fault. If she wasn't such a good cook, I wouldn't be so fat. Maybe that's true. But ultimately, the food didn't fly into your mouth. You had to put it in your mouth. And no matter how good it is, you're the one who decides how much you eat. So it may seem like the reason you're overeating is because your wife's a good cook. But ultimately, you cannot blame your wife for your overeating. So it may seem like this is not the ideal situation to chant, or I'm so busy, etc., etc. But ultimately, we can't say anything other than it's my responsibility to chant well, and I need to figure out how to do that no matter what the situation is, and not blame it on the situation, because that's too easy to do. And when we do that, we give in to the weaknesses that the situation is causing us to, how do we say it? The situation is causing us to be distracted, or causing us to be lazy. Well, it's late in the day, I'm distracted, or it's at night, I'm tired, or whatever it is. Granted, those situations do have an effect on us, but when we allow ourselves to just say, well, what can I do? This is how it is. Then we allow those situations to totally affect us. So the point is, okay, the prasadam is good, your wife's a great cook, the cook's a great cook, but still, you don't have to overeat. It's not incumbent upon you to overeat. You're not powerless. So I think sometimes we're in situations and we kind of become powerless. And what can I do? Look at the situation. What can I do, Prabhu? That was the best sabji I've ever eaten in my life. How could I just eat a normal amount? I ate 3 plates. What could I do? What could you do? Eat 1 plate, not 3. You could do that. You have the power to do that. So that was the point, or that is the point of this quote, that you have the more power than you think to make decisions, to make intentions, to set goals, to not allow circumstances or weaknesses to influence you. Because if I'm weak, or a situation is causing me to act in a certain way, ultimately I'm giving into that situation, and then I'm saying, well, it's the situation's fault. What could I do? It's not true. You can do something. We can always do something. Yes, Krishna has given us independence, so we can always make another decision. We can always make another choice. We can always set our intentions more strongly. We can always upgrade our willpower. We can always do something to make it better. So, again, if you overeat, don't blame the cook. It's not his fault.